Hello, welcome to this week's Content Tea. It's been a very emotional week this week. There's been so much going on all over the world, really, not just in America, because it's had so many ripples everywhere. And I think in our case, it has brought back memories of shocking incidents that have happened locally, racist incidents basically, where people have been attacked simply because of the color of their skin. And when you start realizing sort of where the world still is, even today in 2020, we realize that we really must do something. But I felt like I needed to jump on here because I know that Jane is waiting for her website review today. And I had some conversations with you in my private group. And we talked about the problems that you can encounter in the beginning when you have, when you start off with a new Facebook page and you don't have that many likes. And Facebook can make it really hard these days. It can be really hard to actually start off from nothing. Maybe a couple of years ago, you could set up a page and invite some friends and, hit 1,000, 2,000 likes quite easily. But these days, without an actual budget, that can take quite a long time. So today I'm going to answer a question and I'm going to just pop in. By the way, if you're here, I'm going to open my comments and do pop your name into the comments and let me know when you're here, because I actually can't see you until you post me a message. Okay, so let's find the question. So here it is. Sayali says that her Facebook page is brand new. So she started inviting friends. And then I tried things like Facebook Lives or an intro video and even some content. And what she's saying is that please let me know what else I can do. Okay. So doing lives is going to help, but let's put it this way. You've probably heard that lives are good because lives help you reach more people. However, as a startup strategy, so when you're just beginning your Facebook page, it doesn't really make a big difference because, of course, you are reaching people who are already connected to your page. So when people say that lives are good on Facebook, it's true because you will reach more people that are already following your page, but you will not reach new people until you actually put a budget on that live. So like you've probably heard me say many times before, Facebook has become very much a pay-to-play platform. You've probably heard quite a few people that say, you've got to pay in order to reach more people. So here are a couple of tips that I suggest. First of all, you did the right thing. So invite all your friends when you have a new Facebook page. And also, you can also try boosting some content. So for instance, you could create, and this has been one of the things that has worked really well for me, and it was a complete coincidence that I discovered this. So one of the things I like to do, so I liked quotes a lot, and I think a lot of people do. If you look at statistics in terms of keywords and search engines, you'll find that quotes are one of the things people love to look for, whether they're going to use it for a desktop or whether they just want to share it on social media. People just love quotes. So have a little bit of a look around. Find some quotes maybe on Instagram and, find the ones that got quite a lot of engagement. So what you want to do is you find a quote that has a lot of engagement, is connected to what you do and things that you normally talk about on your page. Take it on your page and tell a little story. So in your post, when you write it, tell a little story. And why not also try to end the story in a way where you're asking people to leave a comment or, I don't know, say yes or no to something you're asking them. Ask them to just pop a word maybe in the comments, but whatever you do, just ask them to engage. And once you've done this, turn this post into a boosted ad. You will not need to give it a lot of budget. You can start off with a very conservative budget of 10 or 20 euros. If you can afford it, go a little bit higher, go to 50 or 65 euros, but let it just boost and reach more people beyond your page. And what you want to do is, if you're creating this through the Facebook Ads Manager, you want to make it an engagement post. If you're just boosting it, it's perfectly fine. It should work fine as well. Now, what you do is, once this post has reached more people, and because it's a quote, it will tend to get shared and liked, and it will have quite a lot of engagement. What you do is then you go in the Facebook post, you click on the actual likes, and it will give you a list of people that have liked the post. What you do then, ideally every day while your ad is running, you go there and you invite all the people who have liked the post to like your page. So they would remember that they've liked the post, and they are much more likely to then like your page. Now, this is a little bit of a sort of workaround way. It's not a very direct way to increase your likes, but it does kind of filter them a little bit and make sure that they are interested in your particular topic, because you're using a quote that relates to your audience. Maybe a more direct way of doing it would be actually to go to the Ads Manager and create an ad that is actually aimed at increasing your likes. There is actually an option where you can choose that. Alternatively, and this is my favorite way to do it, I would run your normal list building ads. So if you have a freebie that you regularly run traffic to grow your email list, what you can do is you can have the regular ad, and maybe you can try and add some interactive features to it so that people like and share it more. And you use the same principle. So you run it to grow your email list, but then you go in it and you invite people to like your page. I would always prioritize list building over Facebook likes, because Facebook likes do not actually turn into money. So there are people who have 1,000 likes and, make 5, 10, 15K a month. And there are people, online influencers that have a lot, 10,000, 20,000 likes, and they don't really make that much money. So make sure that you're not focusing on the likes, but you're focusing on the quality leads, and you're focusing on having a solid business plan that's going to get you, focusing on the right thing. Now, of course, sometimes having Facebook likes is important for your persona, but I wouldn't give it too much importance. I actually had a couple of clients in the last 2 weeks get blocked by Facebook. So I really wouldn't rely on it too much. It's a great tool, and it's one of those things where it's great to use the tool. I mean, I'm here, I'm live, and of course it helps. It's a nice way to connect with people. It's a tool that works, but you've got to be careful not to sort of put all your eggs in one basket when it comes to marketing, because as these platforms that we don't own, we cannot really promise they're going to be here tomorrow. So it's very important that you have a social media plan, but you also put your stuff on your website. The only platform you can really control and you decide what goes on it is your website. So it's very important to not sort of get all drawn into social media and forget that your website is actually the place where your content needs to be stored and centralized. Of course, there's other places as well, like maybe your YouTube channel, but always remember to keep backups of everything, because your content can be reused and it can be, turned into ads even on other platforms. So, and in fact, this is something that I will be talking again about in the next few weeks. There are other platforms that are great for advertising these days that not a lot of people are talking about. Okay, so if you have any questions, pop your questions in the feed as usual. I'm going to pop over to Facebook and have a look at the feed to see if there are any questions. Okay, I think I'm going to need to refresh. It's happened quite a few times today. In fact, I had to restart my computer before going live. That's why I was a few minutes late. Okay, so let's have a look and see if we have any comments. Okay. And it seems like there are no questions. So, okay, very good. So no questions about what we were talking about. So the next thing is I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to go straight into Jane's website. So here we are. Okay, so let me know when you can see the screen share. Let's see if you can see that. Very good. Okay, so here we are. So this is Jane's homepage. And I like the fact that the picture looks so natural. And of course, I have landed here and I already know what Jane does. But my first comment would be, would you like to live a fulfilled life? And then I'd love to help you with that. So my first comment is that when I read these, I think, okay, Jane is going to help me live a fulfilled life, but the only thing that I feel is missing here is that I am not sure whether she's talking to me or not yet. And I'll explain why. When I scroll down, Jane then explains that she works with people who are expats, who are living outside of their country. So it says, discover how you can feel at home no matter where you live. So she helps people who are maybe not feeling very fulfilled and not feeling very at home because maybe setting up in a new country is a little bit difficult. So what I would say definitely, Jane, is to add something that qualifies you a little better here. So even if potentially you could make this title a little smaller and add a little line underneath that says, for instance, I would say, would you like to live a fulfilled life? And underneath you could say, are you struggling to feel happy or feel confident or feel at home in your new life in a new country? So define a little bit the person that you're talking to. Because of course your banner is the first thing, and in the first 5 seconds people are going to decide, is this for me or is it not? Okay, I'm looking for my mug in the wrong place. Okay, sip of tea. So here we are. Okay, so going further down, I can see that Jane is immediately talking to the target audience, and I quite like this. The only thing is that I feel somehow that the spacing is not working so much for me. I'm not sure. I think there's something about sort of the layout here that could be a little bit more attractive. Maybe add a few more colors, even with the squares, just to make it sort of a little bit more eye-catching. Because I'm very tempted to just scroll down. Potentially, you could just make the titles a little bit stronger. So perhaps here, it might just make sense to have maybe the first sentence or a new title that is bolded so that it makes me feel like, okay, I'm in a new section and I start reading that automatically. Okay. Coaching enables you to focus and grab hold of your dreams. Okay. So what I would do, I would definitely push the testimonial a little bit further up. And also, I like this section where you say who you work with. So definitely, I would say that I would probably put this straight under here, straight under Jane. So under the picture over here, I would go straight in with this because it's very clear, because as soon as I land on your page, I think, okay, who is Jane and what does she do? So you're immediately telling me who you work with. So I already know that you work with women. I already know their situation, and then you go straight into saying that you are a certified professional. And then maybe from there you can go on and talk more about how you do it, and sort of maybe get into some testimonials and explain a little bit the kind of difficulties your clients were finding before actually working with you. Okay, and then there's a form at the bottom, which is great. And I believe this is a link to your Facebook group. Okay, very good. Excellent. So let's have a look at the About Me page. Just a quick thing that I'm noticing as well. The logo, I feel, is a little bit small up here. It probably works quite nicely on mobile, but I don't think... Okay, it's responsive, so it doesn't shrink down, so it probably works nicely on mobile, but I feel that the desktop version is a little too small, so you may want to make it just a little bit bigger. Okay, so then in the About Me page, so my story, do any of these situations tick your boxes? Again, here, I like the fact that you're using the title, but I wouldn't use a title that is not catching. So basically the title doesn't tell me anything about what's in the paragraph. It's just saying, do any of these situations tick your boxes? It's a sentence that could be on any website for any person or any company. So I would steer clear of something so generic, and I would use something like this. I think, have you recently moved to a new country would actually be the first eye-catching thing. And then going into, as you mentioned, all the difficulties they might be facing, or all the things that might be going on in their lives or through their minds. And definitely, I would say, just qualify your audience by saying, are you living in a foreign country? Have you recently moved to a different country? Because that is already saying, are you my target audience or are you not? So the people who are will stay and they will read on. Otherwise, I think the text is pretty nice. And you also go into your personal story, which is great. Okay, I like this. I like the fact that you're showing them that you know how they're thinking. And then it goes into something about you, which is great. I think this is very sober and it really works nicely. I love your honesty, and I love the way you just, write really simply in a way that's really easy to understand. Okay. The only thing here is that I don't immediately see where to book you. So I can see this sentence, which I would bold actually. Would you like to take to talk through the initial steps towards becoming? The sentence needs a little bit of tweaking. And what I would do is I would put a link here to your calendar, in spite of also having this one. I would just put one in the text because if I don't actually put my eyes down after finishing reading, if I scroll back up, then I've missed your link to contact you. So I think yes. In fact, you may want to put a couple of links to book your call, even in the text. So if you're talking about people contacting you, you can actually link your scheduler. But definitely in the end over here. And one little thing, when you have a page like this, which is asking people to click and contact you, do not put your social media buttons there, because people click on social media buttons, they go on Facebook or Instagram, and they will absolutely forget where they were, because they'll get all these distractions, all these posts from everybody else, and they will forget they even were on your website. So definitely, if possible, do remove the social media down there. Okay. And then we have the blog, which I am familiar with. I think the blog works really fine. I love the fact that you can see your face here on the right. So you're not just seeing images and titles, but you can also see a nice image of yourself, and you're sort of introducing yourself a little bit further. Of course, very useful to have your freebie next to the blog. That's very important. Just one little thing that is kind of annoying me a little, and maybe it could be affecting your conversion rates. I think your text here for GDPR is a little bit too much. I would try to make it as short as possible. I'm not sure if this is maybe from a template, or maybe specifically from the form of your email tool. But I would definitely go in there and try and make it as short as possible, even if the ultimate message is similar to what you already have. Because when people see so much, they think, oh my goodness, too much to read, and they may not subscribe. So you'll get more people who actually click subscribe if you put that in. Okay, here I also kind of want to see the name of your freebie a little bit bigger. So I don't know if you can do that in the image, or maybe you can switch these. So you could put attitudes, not affirmations, up here, and then sort of the instructions to sign up maybe a little bit further down. So definitely I would prioritize the text by size here a little bit. Okay, and that's everything. Okay, one thing that I would definitely add, in spite of the fact that you are going to have contact me buttons all over the site, because that's great, and you're going to have many different places where people can actually jump on and book in your scheduler. But I would also add a contact page up here, even if it's just a page that has a form, or maybe it just has your email address and your social media contacts. It really helps, because sometimes people land on your site and there isn't really anything they want to go through, and they're not the type that's going to read, but they will go straight to your contacts page and drop you a line and ask you a question. So I would definitely recommend having a contacts page for people who don't have the time or the inclination to actually go through all the content on your website. Excellent. One last thing I would like to check is when you click the blog post, just to have a look at what page you come through. Okay, and that's a regular blog post. Okay, one last thing perhaps. I would always say, if you don't add a call to action to your blog, it can be a little bit of a waste of website real estate. So I do like the fact that you have your registration form in the homepage at the very bottom. If you could add a similar registration form, or a contact form, or maybe just a call to action to book a discovery call with you across the whole site, so that it appears underneath every blog post, then at least you have a call to action in every page. Okay, here we are. And so that was Jane's website. I hope I have reviewed most of it. Yes. So, and I'm gonna pop in now. Pop your names into the chat so I can see you in the Ecamm Live software, because I can only see you actually when you pop your names in there. So I'm gonna pop into Facebook now, and I'm gonna check your questions to have a look. Okay, so now that I moved to Facebook, I can actually see Louisa. Hi, Louisa, and Natasha, and Charlotte as well. And Charlotte is asking a question. It says, is the first appointment non-committal, just a free introduction, or am I charged the minute I call? Okay, I believe that Jane's is a free call. But if you are thinking of perhaps what happens generally as a coach, sort of what kind of call you can put, you can have a 30-minute free discovery call. Now, a discovery call is more of a call to get to know each other and try to understand maybe what packages that coach has, and also to understand if you are a good fit. So normally you would jump on a discovery call with a coach if you're interested in what they do, and you try to understand if it's a good fit. Then there is the laser coaching type. So if you are a coach and you want to give people a little taster, hi Louisa, and you want to give people a little taster of what you do, you can offer laser coaching sessions. Obviously, if you have the time, you may want to book maybe 3 or 4 sessions a week, more if you're just starting out and you have more time. And you just put a 30-minute laser coaching session so people, oh, hi Natasha, and people can just jump in and they can then see what your coaching is actually like, so that then you can talk about your programs, and if they are wowed by the kind of value that you give, or they feel that they want more of that coaching, then you can offer them one of your coaching packages. There is also the kind of taster. So once you're pretty booked up, or pretty much fully booked really, so you don't really want to be jumping on a call unless it's paid, you can just put a 1-hour call on your website, which is going to act like a discovery call, but you ask people to pay before they actually go on the call. So those would be the 3 instances. What you can also do is you can also put a form then that qualifies them. But of course, it all depends on the kind of volume that you're looking at. Myself, I feel that even when I'm pretty booked up, I prefer to jump on a call and get to know people before I ask them to buy, because I want to know if the person is a good match, because maybe they thought that I was the right person, and I don't want to take any money off that person until I'm really sure I can help them. So I think it also depends on what you do. So what you do for some people might be really easy to understand. In my case, I deal with content marketing. Some people understand, a lot of people understand totally different things with the same term, like content marketing. So I always want to make sure that people are sure that I am offering what they are looking for. Okay, so don't worry, Charlotte, it's fine. We're here to make conversation. Excellent. Okay, so if you don't have any more questions, well, do pop them in now. If you have any more questions, maybe about what we spoke about in the beginning or about the website review, do ask me now if you have any further questions. In the meantime, I wanted to let you know that in the next few weeks, you've probably seen, if you have already been in my Facebook group, you would probably have seen that we have been talking about lead generation, and we have also been talking about keywords with some people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be organizing some training in the next few weeks so that we can go deeper into the topic of lead generation, which I feel is something that is always a little bit of a tough topic. But of course, in the times that we're seeing, in the times of when people are just beginning to go back to COVID, it's not really business as usual. So maybe people struggle a little bit to find their feet. So we'll be looking at the different types of lead generation and how people feel about this. Hi, Jane. I see Jane has joined us now. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, Jane. You're welcome very much. I hope that you enjoyed this live. Again, feel free to pop into my group, which is called More Leads and Traffic with Blogging and SEO. And I'm not sure if you can find it by actually popping my name into the Facebook search. But if you're not on the group and you would like to pop in there to talk about leads, SEO, and website traffic and get some free advice, there's plenty of that being passed around all the time. Feel free to join me. And in the meantime, I will see you next week for the Content Tea Party on Friday. See you.